Good evening. I'd like to call to order the Village of Gurnee Planning and Zoning Board for this Wednesday, March 6, 2025. Can we have roll call, please?
Path.
Here.
Nordentoff.
Here.
Ware.
Here.
Martin.
Here.
Campbell.
Here.
Morgan.
Here.
And Sula.
Present. We do have all of us here tonight. If everyone would please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before we dive into the agenda, I'd like to take this opportunity to welcome our newest member to the planning staff here at the Village, Shannon Coleman. She comes to us most recently from Barrington.
And the mic's not on.
Mike's not.
Are they on?
We're checking to see if the microphones are on. They're not.
I don't hear it.
Yeah, you're not.
Mine's not coming on.
Have a good night.
Okay. Before we jump into the agenda, I'd like to take the opportunity to welcome Shannon Coleman to the planning staff. She most recently comes to us from Barrington, and welcome aboard.
Oh, thank you.
First item on the agenda this evening, that's much better. The first item on the agenda this evening is the approval of our minutes from the meeting that was held back on January 8th. Does anybody have any questions, comments? If not, a motion to approve as submitted would be in order.
Motion to approve?
Motion by Mr. Paff.
Second.
Second by Mr. Nordentoff. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next item is the approval of the minutes from the meeting that was held back on January 22nd. Any changes, questions, or comments?
I did find one item on page 3. Your comment, you spoke on behalf of the board stating that you didn't see any reason for the family to proceed with the application process. I think it was supposed to be not to proceed with the application process.
Good catch. Okay. Any other changes? If not, a motion to approve as amended would be in order.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Nordentoff.
Second.
Second by Mr. Campbell. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Next item on the agenda is a public hearing, special use permit request from Impulsive Details, proposed to be located at 3590 Grand Avenue. Staff report.
Thank you. The
Shannon, okay.
petitioner, Andrew Perez, is requesting a special use permit to operate Impulsive Details, a hand wash and car detailing business in the C2 EGG East Grand Gateway Overlay District. In addition to hand car washing, Impulsive Details will also offer ceramic coating and window tinting as an optional feature. The subject property is located at 3590 Grand Avenue, currently vacant, but formerly a paint retail business. It is approximately 19,100 square feet and is improved with a one-story commercial building with an existing loading dock located in the rear and 14-space parking lot. Andrew is here to talk about his project.
Okay, thank you.
Perez.
Good evening, everybody.
Excuse me
Oh,
just a
sorry.
second. As this is a public hearing, I would request anybody from the petitioner or members of the general public that intend to give testimony or ask questions to please stand and be sworn in. So if you think you're going to say anything, please stand. Okay. Could you raise your right hand? Do you swear to tell the truth with your questions and testimony?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And if you could start with your name and address for the record, please. Thanks.
My name is Andrew Perez. The subject property is 3590 Grand Avenue in Gurnee, Illinois, 60031. So my goal is to open a hand car wash at this location. What we're looking to do, we're going to be constructing 2 garage doors at the front of the building and at the back of the building for an easy entrance and an easy exit. What we're looking to do is our goal is to make an appointment-only car wash where we can also do additional service, as Shannon mentioned, whereas we're going to offer ceramic coating to vehicles and window tinting services as well. So everything's going to be hand wash, eco-friendly products for the vehicles. There's no heavy machinery that's going to be installed. And I believe we have enough parking to satisfy the services that are going to be taking operation there.
Okay. Who'd like to start? Go ahead, Gurnee.
So you said an appointment-only car wash,
That's our goal, yes.
so we can't just turn it off the street and get a car wash?
Depending on traffic, or depending on our schedule, there's a possibility that no. Our goal is to just do everything appointment-based because we want to offer our additional services as well.
And you're open 7 days a week?
What was that?
You're open 7 days a week?
Yes,
And then there's only one way in and one way out?
correct.
Dave?
Yeah, thank you. My question's mainly about the operation itself. We have a rear overhead garage door, a front overhead garage door, and I know this is not an automated car wash, but let's say in the heat of the summer, would you anticipate that you'll need to operate your business with those doors open in order to be able to keep your interior environment comfortable, or would everything always be closed?
I believe there's a
Under
chance.
air-conditioned.
Yeah, I believe there's a chance we will have to keep both doors open at some point, especially during the summer.
Okay, so it's not an automated car wash, but do you have any other equipment, pneumatic tools, anything else in your trade that would generate noise that would emanate from that?
Shop vacs and power washers, pressure washers.
Okay. That was the only other question that I had.
I guess maybe I'm confused. I thought for sure that I read that it was just open, that's like an open timing in terms of the operation and not by appointment only. I guess my primary issue would be, if it is that you've got, is the traffic, right? We've got a traffic pattern, we've got a primary artery there, one of 3 primary arteries, and this is not a non-busy intersection. So if you have vehicles and it's, by appointment, or if they're just able to come in, Grand Avenue is not conducive to that, right? If you're coming in off of Grand Avenue and cars stack up, and believe me, I go to Libertyville to get my cars washed, I would love to see something. But with Grand Avenue being there, and if I'm going east on Grand Avenue, I'm not gonna make a left into the property off of Grand Avenue. I'm gonna turn on Belpain and then try to make that turn into the stacking lanes. So I guess my issue would be if it becomes where it's not by appointment only and it is just open, that this is going to be problematic for Grand Avenue if cars are stacking up and lined up on Grand Avenue, and if vehicles are trying to get in off of Belle Plaine, and how do you manage that flow to get into the subject property to have your vehicle serviced? I mean, a hand car wash is 15 to 20 minutes.
Yeah, so what I was thinking, if that does happen, if it gets that busy, I don't anticipate that being the case. It'd be great if it does, but if that's the case, on busy days, we're gonna turn that one way into, so the exit, people are gonna be able to exit through the exit doorway, right? So what you're saying is they're gonna turn into Belle Plaine, right? Mm-hmm. So they're gonna enter through the exit, and they're gonna come in through the designated exit door. And then they'll be able to leave through Grand Avenue.
Right, but then
Does that make sense?
If that's the case, then they'll stack up on Belle Plaine. Either way, if it becomes where you're very busy, you're gonna have the traffic stacked up one way or the other, because, I mean, I've seen it, right? There's a hand car wash down on, I think it's Grand and Berwick, where in particular in the winter, these cars are lined up down the street on Berwick. You can see it in, the automated car washes now, particularly again in the winter, with the busy season for you, where cars are constantly lined up, spilling over into the roadway. So how do you manage that process and be successful in the business if, it's not by appointment only, or if you just so happen that people don't know it's by appointment only and they just start coming over?
So, I mean, our goal is to be appointment only, right? We're not really trying to, as much as we'd like to bring in more people in all day long, our priority is to bring people in for the car wash and then offer them our additional services. So we're strictly aiming to be appointment only.
Could that was one of my concerns also. I noticed that in the materials that we were given, it wasn't specified just for appointment only. It was appointment only for the additional services, but the car wash was, you just drive in. At least that's what what I read, and I believe that other people read the same thing.
Yeah, that was I didn't update that on the plan, but it's not supposed to be walk-in. There's just wrong verbiage there.
Okay. Could we stipulate that in the motion, that it's by appointment only? Sure. Because that would be my concern also, is there's not a whole lot of room to stack there, and if you do, you could probably stack 3 cars there and still get through the parking lot, but any more than that, you'd have trouble. So I would recommend that it be specified that it was by appointment only. I am a little concerned about the shop vacs because, from my experience, people in the area anyway who are running a shop vac, it's really noisy. How close are we to housing there?
There's an automotive shop right behind the building.
Okay. Is there houses right after that?
I believe there are houses behind that automotive shop, yes.
So you're saying that you would leave the doors open during the summertime?
There's a possibility, yeah, due to heat, there's a chance we would leave the doors open.
Okay, so it's not air conditioned.
There will be air conditioning for sure, but even with all the steam and everything going on in the building at that time, it's a possibility that we may have doors open.
Okay. All right.
Todd?
I think the other commissioners have addressed my concerns about the traffic flow and the appointment only. I was also wondering if we make it appointment only, can we also require the signage to indicate that it's appointment only on their signage, or is that something we don't have jurisdiction over?
I don't think we can dictate what's on the sign.
Okay. So that was all I had.
Okay, Liliana? I just have one question, just for context. How much would a basic car wash cost?
Anywhere from about $25 to $29.
$25 to $29, okay. All right, at this time, I'm going to open the floor to the public. So if you have a question, if you could please come to the microphone, state your name and address for the record, direct your questions to the members of the Planning and Zoning Board. Once all the questions have been asked, I will close the floor to the public, and then we'll address the questions at the best that we can.
Hi, good evening. Thanks for your time tonight. My name is Jory Stuckwish. I live right down the street, 987 Belle Plaine, from this property, and just have a few questions. We definitely appreciate new business interest in the area. While a higher-end car wash is certainly more appealing than a traditional car wash, residents still have concerns about this particular business at this location. One being that if you're not familiar with the area, there are 2 other car washes very close to this location, one on Magnolia Avenue and the other new one that opened just down Grand Avenue, so they're within less than 0.4 miles of each other. And then the concerns that you brought up about traffic patterns. So Belle Plaine Avenue is a street that leads directly to residential homes. There's a daycare right down that street. street, many different school bus stops, a children's park. We already have a very problematic traffic pattern with through traffic down Belle Plain and then through Crescent Avenue of people trying to bypass the Green Bay Grand Avenue stoplight. And so there's concern that this particular type of business could possibly make that traffic pattern even worse. That intersection of Grand Avenue and Belle Plain is a known problem. Serious traffic accidents have occurred there. 2 major traffic accidents really recently have occurred there. Residents have been asking for changes made to improve the pedestrian traffic to cross the street, and so far that's still pending. And right across Belle Plain at that 3608 building is another kind of strip area, but Lee's Taekwondo is the directly parallel business, which is if you're not familiar, my son goes to Lee's Taekwondo 3 times a week. We walk down from my house to that parking lot, and the traffic coming in and out of Lee's Taekwondo for people attending classes, and these are all small children attending classes, is very problematic. Just lots of in and out. To have another business with lots of in and out happening, could present some additional problems. So in addition to that, just as far as the idea of, you said like the goal is appointment only, then I'm wondering, okay, what would be the guarantee that that would be a requirement if a special use permit were granted to address some of those concerns? So I came here tonight really knowing that the permit was for a car wash, but that it was intended for like a higher end car wash, and hoping to hear some more details to enlighten me and, possibly explain away some of the questions and concerns, but I didn't really hear a lot of additional details. So I think myself and some residents still have those concerns. So I appreciate you taking that into consideration, and thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Becky Koutsinas, and I live at 907 Belle Plain. First, I want to thank the zoning board. In 2022, you heard a petition for multifamily housing a little bit north of there, and after reviewing all the facts, those who were on the zoning board voted against it, and now in 2024 to 2025, they're starting a 4-bedroom, 3.5 bath, single-family home there. So when you review things and make decisions, for example, there was a decision made last summer, and then in the fall, and now through winter of 2025, 5 new businesses have come to the area since a very long meeting last summer. So the way that you review things and the way that you enter all the facts is really greatly appreciated by me as a resident here in this neighborhood since 2008. So thank you for all your dedication and hard work. A couple of questions that I have regarding the traffic pattern. I have school-age children, and the bus stop for the high schools for the whole area neighborhood is a little bit north of 821. It's at the corner of Belle Plaine and Grandview. So especially coming back, when the school buses are coming back, I would just wondering how the traffic pattern is going with Lee's Taekwondo already being busy. Like, how is the traffic pattern, the way that the car wash goes, going to affect the bus stops? There's actually, let's see, Prairie Trail, River Trail, Viking, Spalding, 2 high schools, that's 6 schools, bus stops right over there. So in addition to the childcare at 976 Belle Plaine and 6 childcares in the area, just something to consider on the question of establishment, special use permit, will it endanger the public health, safety, or welfare? So I would just ask you to review that and consider that. Regarding the noise also, I do hear in my yard the noise of other businesses, the garage and that sort of thing. So that would be even closer. So if it is open in the summer due to the heat, I can attest, and swearing to tell the truth, that the noise is a factor. It does, I do hear it, and we've had our windows replaced with new windows and everything. So I think that building right next to it is 821 is a house. Somebody was asking about where the residential areas start. 821 is a duplex, sorry, my bad. 800 is a duplex, I believe 810. So the residences start right there. I realize it's hard to be familiar with all of the area. So thank you so much for your hard work and dedication.
Thank you.
Hello again, board members. Karen Roswadowski. I live on Belle Plaine. I've been in my house almost 38 years. And I am very concerned about this particular space for that, for the same reasons as they had said about one being on Magnolia, the other just a couple blocks down on Grand. But also, there's not a big parking lot area. They had a problem with that with the paint store, with not a lot of parking. Now you're talking employees there on top of, patrons, and the traffic at Belle Plaine and Grand is such a mess. You've got that Dan's Deals everywhere where people are not watching where they're going. Now you're going to be adding more traffic coming through. And it is a concern. I have a 14-month-old grandbaby that I watch. And I appreciate that they put all those speed signs up, but people are flying down Belle Plaine just to get through to avoid traffic. And this is a continual issue. But with the car wash, I just don't think that for us as East Side residents of Gurnee is a good fit. I think that there could be something that might work better there. Thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you.
Debbie Hasselton, I live at 1601 Belle Plaine, so this doesn't directly affect me for noise or anything, but I've been in my house since '86. So with my 3 kids going to the schools, I did the math, and I've probably been at that intersection in excess of 40,000 times, going to and from Warren and Viking and all those places. So I'm a frequent flyer for that intersection. I've actually gotten in a car accident at that intersection. And the problem is that, let's say you're going east and you make a left-hand turn. Right across, like everybody was saying, Lee's Taekwondo's entrance is exactly parallel to the said location's entrance. And when I've made a left-hand turn to go home, some mom wants to get into Lee's Taekwondo, but they can't because the traffic is at the stop sign. So the light changes. I'm thinking that this person's going to go because last minute they turn their turn signal on. I'm stuck in the middle of the intersection waiting for mom to wait for the other traffic to go so she can make a left-hand turn into Lee's Taekwondo. In the meanwhile, the traffic coming from Waukegan, going east to west, wants to get through, and it's just, we're all at a standstill. So I've been in that situation. So I go over by the garden center and I go out that way. I don't go that way anymore. But there was a couple things. I got stuck out at Papo's over here on Hunt Club and Washington, and they're both double lanes, so Hunt Club now is, got 4 lanes. I can't believe it. I got stuck in traffic as they were going into Papo's because it was one of those days where it turned, like this weekend it's going to turn 60 degrees, so everybody's going to want to get their car washed. And I thought, oh my gosh, I'm stuck in traffic on this, everybody's trying to get in there. So I'm wondering how that would work if people don't know that it's appointment only and they go in there. There's nowhere to go, and it's going to back out onto Grand Avenue. So that's the main thing that I would worry about. The other thing that's happened, because my daughter takes that way, she said, and have you ever been through there when the weather changes? Because the cars sometimes go out wet, And so that moisture goes out on the road. And if they, of course, they're not going to salt when they're not expecting it to snow or rain. So my daughter says a couple times it's been slick there because, out there, not here, of course, but that because of the wetness coming off the cars. So how is the drainage going to be? Because that's really tight. That building's really close to the road. So I would worry about what kind of drainage besides it coming off the cars. And then, what was the other thing I had? I had one more thing that I was thinking about besides the traffic. I can't think about it right now. But anyway, those were my main concerns, is where the water and the backup. Oh, yeah, because I went to go use the one on Magnolia, and that's not a very well-used road, and they were backed way up on Magnolia. So, and that's right in our neighborhood as well. So if Magnolia gets backed up and Belle Plaine gets backed up, the only other way to go is Waveland, because that's the only other exit coming out of our neighborhood. So that's all I had.
Okay, thank you.
Good evening. Mike Castillo from 3515 Grove Avenue. I've been in the area since 2005. First, I want to thank you all for doing what you do, and Mr. Perez for trying to create a business and take care of his family and provide jobs and everything else. I have several concerns about this. As you see on the sign, on the picture here, we only have 3 lanes, and 2 of them are southbound. One is a dedicated turn lane, one is a dedicated straight/turn lane. Look at this picture right there. You see all those cars right there just to the west of it, to the east of it. There's a bus stop right there behind the second car. Literally, there's a bus stop right in front of the business. So that creates a little issue as well. There have been several times where I'm trying to turn north on Belle Plaine, and people that are coming westbound make a quick turn into northbound Belle Plaine, then suddenly hit their brakes really hard to try and get into 3608, either for that retail store that's there, or the old, Thrifty B store, or the Taekwondo studio, whatever. And then what happens is people coming southbound, as some people have said, through the cut-through traffic, they can't get through because it gets like 4 or 5 cars deep. Then you can't turn into 3608. So it really becomes a gridlock right there for a moment. Then in the mornings, as you know, people don't listen, and they try and get through the light. Light turns green, and nobody could turn anyways. So that's my concern with the traffic. As far as the appearance of it, I'm okay with it. I just don't like the appearance of having 2 front doors that go all the way through to the back, because we did initiate a beautify East Grand Avenue for Gurnee. I don't see how, doors for car washes and standing cars to get through and so forth is going to make Gurnee any more beautiful than it is now, which really hasn't changed much since we started the project. We have Dirty Bird, just literally right on the other side of the Speedway on Magnolia. We have the new Trio, 0.4 miles away, right across the street. We also have the car wash off Green Bay Road and Grand. The Extreme Car Wash right there by the classic Toyota. There's several car washes in the area. Would they offer a different service? Absolutely. I just don't know if it's benefiting to the community to have a car wash there when we have several others and other businesses offer similar services. A concern and a question that I have is car washes use soap and other detergents, and you're offering ceramic coating as well?
Yes. Excuse me, please address your questions.
Sorry.
Planning
So they're offering ceramic coating as well. What is there in place to clean that water and filter it? Is it just going to be a runoff directly to the lake? Or is it going to go to our plant where we now have to incur additional costs of cleaning another car wash in the area? As you guys know, car washes produce certain chemicals and pollutants, amongst them metals. Do we want that in our water? Do we want that something that our system to work with here at the Public Works plant? I don't know. That's up to you guys to decide. But I'm against it, and I'm sorry, sir, but I can't have that in my neighborhood at this time. And again, it's by appointment only. If we restrict him to just appointments only, and he doesn't have enough appointments, then he may have to close down the business. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Lane Moyer. I just want to provide just a little more detail about the project because I'm the owner of the building. I own the 3590. And just so some background, we've been trying to market the store, the center, since we lost PPG. They decided that they just wanted to sell through Home Depot. And we've had it since 2022. And we've had different plans, things that probably would generate a lot more traffic for that center, and some uses which we wouldn't have to come before the zoning board. You know, there's some that are permitted. So when we talked to Andrew, we felt strongly that it fit the area. One thing, you have a mechanic behind us, you have a harbor tool next to us. I mean, this is an area that has these kinds of businesses, so we thought it fit the area. We also, you know, the appointment only, that removes some of the concerns regarding the backup, because granted, backing up onto Grand Ave would be problematic, but that's not the intent, and that's not what Andrews has planned. The building's been empty for 3 years, and that drops the value of everybody's property, everybody who spoke tonight. You know, that draws homeless people, which we've seen, tried to keep them away, but, you know, so having a use there, generating a business for the community, we think is beneficial. And, you know, there's a lot of complaints about that intersection. This is frankly a lot lower impact than a lot of other uses that we could put there. Also, we never had a problem with parking. You know, PPG always had plenty of parking. There's usually 2 or 3 spots there. The mechanic behind us, actually, because there were so many empty spots, used a couple of our spots, and we said that was fine. So, you know, we're going to keep trying to sell or develop this property, but from an impact standpoint and a fit standpoint, this is the best thing we've come across as far as a fit and impact from a traffic standpoint. So, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? If not, I'm going to close the floor to the public. It seemed like the biggest question is traffic concerns. It's a signalized intersection. It's going to be a retail use. So.
I do have one question for the applicant. How long does a typical car wash last?
Our goal is to get everybody in and out within 15 to 20 minutes.
Okay. And how many spots within the building would you be having concurrent car washes?
In the building, there could be up to 4 cars that fit at once. So between those 2 garage doors, it's up to 4 cars. And then those parking spaces that will be eliminated right in front of the entrance. I mean, if for some reason we have some flow, like I said, I don't believe we're gonna have any car stacking or anything backed up. In case there is, I mean, you could fit maybe 6 cars right near that entrance door. There's plenty of parking space for our employees that we're gonna have there, and there's additional parking space for people that are gonna be in the lobby or for whatever reason, if there's parking space needs.
Okay, so from a you know, looking at it big picture from a traffic generation, we're looking at basically 1 car in and out every 4 to 5 minutes. This is a commercially zoned site. Permitted uses by right are restaurants, including drive-through restaurants, other retail spaces. All of those would generate as much or more traffic on a permitted by right basis than would 1 car every 4 to 5 minutes. So just kind of getting a framing things. One of the other items that was discussed was the number of car washes that are already in the area. You know, this board deals with land uses. It does not deal with market conditions. So we really cannot justify or deny based upon the number of any type of business in town. So we are looking at purely land uses. Does this land use fit this site? The question of noise came up with the shop vacs and the pressure washers. Would you be willing to commit to keeping the north garage door closed if you need a little airflow? Having the south one open, but keeping the north one closed may be a condition that could be implemented that would help alleviate some of those noises bleeding out to the neighborhood.
Absolutely.
Okay. The south access point on Belle Plaine. So right now there's a driveway out onto Grand Avenue, and then there are 2 access points onto Belle Plaine. The south one on Belle Plaine, south of the building, is that one still planned on being used?
The garage door that's there?
No, the driveway onto Belle Plaine at the south end of the site in front of the building.
No.
Is the plan to block it off, or are you going to keep it in place?
We're just eliminating it.
Okay. So that should help some of that traffic congestion, confusion right at the intersection. We've also had discussions with 3608 across the street about potentially closing their south access point because of the proximity to the intersection. Those are not, generally, from a traffic flow perspective, we don't like driveways that close to the intersection. So if we can get a commitment to close that south access point, that should be a win for traffic safety.
I'm sorry, David, so if you're closing the south access point, which is I'm assuming that's the southwest access point, right?
The southwest, yes.
So then how does a patron get into that property if they're going east on Grand Avenue?
If they're going east on Grand Avenue, they could either take a left into the driveway onto Grand Avenue, or they could go north on Belle Plaine and come in from the rear of the building.
Okay.
I think he did say that he could do two-way traffic on the.
Correct. We could.
There's enough room to have two-way traffic back there. I believe and the parking stalls are all 90-degree parking stalls, so you can have two-way traffic. We've got the 24 feet of width for the head-end parking. It's just the flow through the building with the washed cars is, from the south to the north.
The only thing I would add, and I know there was a couple questions about other car washes. Basically, there are a very limited number of businesses that under home rule, the village could require licensing for. This is not one of them. I mean, so basically the village does have a limit as, for instance, the vape stores, but basically a village has to find that there's a public safety issue that would relate to why you would limit the number of a particular business. So I've never heard, of any limitations of a business like this. And currently we have no regulations that would limit the location, require a separation.
Okay. There was another question as far as the wastewater generated from the site. The building would have floor drains in the shop, whereby everything would go into the sanitary sewer, go through the North Shore Water Reclamation sanitary sewer plant, so it would be treated before it's released into the Des Plaines River. And then the only other question, the wet cars, wet pavement. Do you chamois them dried? Do you have
Everything will be towel dried.
Towel dried.
So nothing will be leaving wet. Everything will be dried upon exit. So.
Okay, thank you. That is
I think you caught them all.
all of the questions that I saw.
Okay. All right. Any additional questions from members of the board? I'll start with Ronita.
The only concern that I have is that as in everything that we read about your business, nothing of it said it would be an appointment-only car wash. So all the materials that we had to review said it would be a normal car wash, and the first I've heard of it being appointment-only is today. So I'm kind of curious as to when you made the decision to be appointment-only.
We were getting feedback that the traffic may be an issue. So a couple weeks back, we decided we're going to do appointment only for that reason.
Because it says in your materials that the appointments will be made for ceramic coating and window tinting.
It'll be for everything offered there.
So I'd like to see something, or can we ask for something to be amended to reflect that?
It can be part of the motion.
Okay. Thanks.
No problem.
Leanna? Okay. Edwin?
No. Aye.
Dane?
No additional questions from my end.
Okay. Todd? Okay. I don't either. I mean, the one question that I was concerned about was the potential sound pollution, if you will, and the concept of having the north doors closed address that in my mind. If there's no other questions, a motion in the form of a recommendation to the village board would be in order. Does anybody have any other questions?
I'll do it. Motion to forward a favorable recommendation on the petition of Andrew Perez, DBA Impulsive Detail for a special use permit to allow the establishment and operation of a car wash on the property located at 3590 Grand Avenue, subject to the following conditions. All vehicles must be serviced inside the building, create rear parking to meet the 14-space parking requirement. The 7 proposed rear parking spaces must be striped at 9 feet wide by 18 feet long. 2 tandem spaces max for queuing outside of the service area. The proposed solar panels to be located on the roof must be screened from view. Building permits are required prior to exterior renovations. Signage may not be displayed without sign permit. The operations to be appointment by only, and the operations must keep the north door closed during operations and only open during exiting of the unit.
Okay, thank you. Do we have a motion? Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Mr. Paff. Any discussion on the motion?
I think we need to add one more thing.
Yeah,
to
go
it.
ahead.
One of the things that was discussed that I think we may want to see if we can roll into the recommendation with a condition of closing the south entrance to the parking. Is that something that we want to make sure is in the motion?
Oh, yeah, good point. Yeah.
It's up to
Yes, most
Todd
definitely.
if he wants to add that to the motion.
wanna
Yes,
add
most
that to the
definitely
motion?
add that to that. The closing of the south entrance must occur.
Good catch.
And just for clarity, it is the south entrance on Belle Plaine, off of Belle Plaine.
Correct.
Right, okay. Are you okay with the amendment as the second?
Second it.
Okay. Any other questions or discussion? Roll call, please.
Paff,
Aye.
Rudenhoff. Ware,
Aye.
Martin,
Aye.
Campbell,
Aye.
Morgan,
No.
and Sula.
Aye, motion carries. As you probably know, we are a recommending body to the village board. Staff will keep you apprised of what the timing of the matter will be, when the matter will be presented to the village board. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is a public hearing request for a zoning map amendment and special use permit for preliminary and final PUD plans for 10 hotel and residency proposed to be located at 6161 Grand Avenue. Staff report? David?
The petitioner, Kayet Enterprises, is looking to purchase the current Hotel Gurnee, the former Holiday Inn Hotel, and transform it into a new hotel brand and residency, the 10 hotel and residential community. Kayet's redevelopment proposal includes converting the south hotel rooms in the south wing to 80 multifamily units. The unit mix includes 48 studio efficiencies and 32 one-bedroom apartments. The residential units will be targeted to occupants 21 and older, with allowed 1 occupant in studio units and 2 occupants in the one-bedroom units, and also no pets. The project calls for the renovation and reuse of the remaining 105 hotel rooms on the west side of the building, remodeling the on-site restaurant at the heart of the building, and rebranding the restaurant to a breakfast restaurant and tapas cafe. Restaurant is available to public and guests. In order to accomplish the request, the applicant needs to accomplish 2 items. First, rezone the 0.09 acre parcel that was annexed by the village just this Monday night, and rezone it from C1, or from R1 to C2, consistent with the rest of the property. And 2, approve a preliminary and final PUD to allow for A, the introduction of multifamily residential into the village's C2 zoning district, B, allow for the off-site parking coupled with valet services to meet the required parking demand for the multiple uses on the site, and C, to allow for a ground sign to exceed the allowable height by 1 feet 8 inches and include a changeable message board under the outlined conditions. The applicant is in attendance tonight, along with their consultants, to present the project.
Great, thank you, David. At this time, I'll request that anyone who intends to give testimony or ask questions to please stand and be sworn in by the village attorney.
Those giving testimony, please raise your right hand. And this is for the audience. In case you might have some questions, I'd ask you to please stand and be sworn in at the same time. You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. You may be seated.
Great. At this time, I'll turn the floor over to Kayetz.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is Glenn Christensen, 4990 Prairie Oak Road, Gurnee, Illinois. I've been asked to help the Kite family and Kite Enterprises in their task to develop this property. As Dave said, we're here for a number of requests, and the first request is for the rezoning of that, well, I'll call the island parcel, 0.01 acre, which was annexed on Monday night. This was a piece of property to the rear there that was never annexed into the village of Gurnee, and it's really it's more of a housekeeping type thing. That parcel at one time had a sewage treatment plant on it when the first Gurnee Holiday Inn was built back in the late 60s. There was no sewer or water available in the area, so they had their own sewage treatment plant. When it annexed, I guess sewage treatment plants were not allowed in the village, so they kept it as an island. Obviously, since then, all the connections have been made to the sanitary sewer and that. So that little piece of property, again, is more of a housekeeping situation. Now, for the entire parcel, and if we could get the site plan back on the screen, I'd appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay.
We are requesting the special use permit for a PUD, both the preliminary and the final PUD plan at once. This request is being made together because it's an unusual situation for, I think, any PUD request that's been before the village. There is no new construction of any new buildings. Everything that's being done is within the confines of the walls of the buildings that are there. As you can see on the site plan, the lower section, lower wing, the brown section there is the one that's going to be converted from hotel rooms to the multifamily. And as Dave said, there's going to be 80 units, 32 one-bedrooms, and 48 studios. And that will be constructed out of the, I believe it's 113 of the existing hotel rooms that are there. The reason for the location on the south wing there is there's one access on each floor to the existing hotel. Those doors will be secured by electronic security, where only the residents will be able to pass through, and obviously any maintenance people. So there will be a complete separation between the residential units and the hotel. Carrying that separation a little further is that we've indicated on the plan there, I don't know how well you can see it there, but I think it's within your packet. The parking for the hotel, for the multifamily will be fenced in and not be able for anybody to access that except the residents of the people there. So those will all be reserved for them. There'll be an electronic gate for them to enter and leave, very similar to for the doorway system that's going to be there. So there'll be no crisscross of parking or situations between the residents and the hotel uses and guests. As I mentioned, there will be no construction of any new buildings. Any of the construction will be within the interior of the buildings. And a little later, I'll have Kyatt people run through the slide presentation of the amenities within the hotel, which you saw last month, but it's been refined a bit. As mentioned, there will be some departures from the zoning ordinance, and I'll try to go through them very quickly here. One of the exceptions to the zoning ordinance is to allow multifamily dwellings on the ground floor in the C2 district. They're allowed above the first floor in the C2 district as a permitted use. So as part of the PUD, we're requesting that they be allowed on the first floor. The other is to allow the use of valet parking to make up the difference within the required parking for each individual use. And we'll have a little further on the parking and the valet service as we go through our presentation. Also, there's an exception on the monument sign out on Grand Avenue. They plan on using the existing base of the sign and and do everything that's current dimensions of that sign, which puts it 1 foot 7.5 inches higher than the permitted use of 12 feet. Now, when that sign was first installed, it was conforming to the sign ordinance in the village. Since the new ordinance was passed, it's 1.5 feet too high. Also, the existing sign base is a little too close to the east driveway. It should be 10 feet. It's 8 feet 6 inches, so that would be an exception. And also, the petitioner is requesting that an electronic message board be included on the sign that's on Grand Avenue there. The village staff forwarded us some requirements that they recently requested of a similar sign in the village, and the Kite Enterprises has agreed to conform to those particular things the staff required on the electronic message sign. And again, we're asking for recommendation of approval on both the preliminary and final plan of the PUD at this time. We've completed a significant amount of work since the last time we were here. We've worked with the staff very closely. Staff has been very helpful, which we appreciate. We've done 3 separate submittals based on staff reviews and gotten them in hopefully in time for everybody to take a look at. Further on, we've also submitted a draft of the PUD agreement to the village for review to carry on toward the village board. We've been in contact with the Woodland Grade School District, the Warren High School, Gurnee Park District, and the Warren Newport Library for impact fees. We know what those are. We're waiting for just the formal agreements to be signed through their boards and that. But we will agree to those and include those formal agreements to the PUD agreement. I think we've done all the necessary work to accomplish this PUD. It's a unique situation, obviously, with an existing building like this. Kite family's done a considerable amount of work and research on their own. And I think at this time I'll ask the Kites to do their presentation, if they would. Or Chris, if you have a few words here. Yeah.
Good evening. I'd like to thank everyone for coming out tonight. My family, the board members, Dave Ziegler, who is an amazing leader. Thank you, David. My wife, she doesn't come out very often, so when she does, you know it's important. This project that we're undertaking is to my family, the biggest thing we've ever done, and we are so excited to we've done a lot of renovating throughout all of Lake County in different communities over the past 40 years that we've been in the hospitality business. This is going to be our ultimate remodel, and we're so proud to be able to have the opportunity to bring this fantastic hotel back to life and shine a light on it in Gurnee. You're welcome to live here. They're going to be beautiful units. You're welcome to live here. They're going to be beautiful units. Nicole's been working on them. I'm so proud of her. As soon as we get approvals, we're going to do 2 models, and we were also going to renovate all the hotel rooms. They do need updating, and we have the financing and everything intact to do those things. The exterior needs work. We know that. We'd like to, make that look beautiful again. Before I keep going on, I'm going to introduce Elliot, my son Christian, Nicole. They'll come up and further explain the project. And I appreciate your time tonight, and please, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, everyone, again, for coming out. I'm Elliot Kyatt, 36575 Fox Hill Drive, Wadsworth, Illinois.
Nicole Kyatt, 36575 North Fox Hill Drive, Wadsworth, Illinois.
Members of the board, thank you for being here. Christian Kyatt, 2895 Southern Hills Drive, Wadsworth, Illinois.
All right, to begin, so it's crazy how from last time, time feels like both a blink of an eye and forever. So some things have changed, and we've continued to become more excited about this project as we continue to dig into it and get through it. Just getting started here, we want to really do something exciting and different that the hotels in Gurnee, the Gurnee area, don't offer currently. The residence aspect of this 10 hotel and residence creates a base for us to be able to do all the different amenities and exciting ventures that we want to do inside of the hotel property. This vision board I'm going to have Nikki walk through, but this gives you an idea of the overall aesthetic and feel that we're looking for. So Nick.
Thank you so much for having us back. I want to start out by saying how much it meant to our family, the positive feedback that you gave us after the meeting last time, while that was just the precursor, to get your positive words after all of the hard work that we've been putting into this off camera, really meant a lot to us, and it really did invigorate us to want to explode this to the next level. We took your, not negative feedback, but the challenges that you guys brought up to us really to heart. So for the past 4 weeks, that's all we've been focused on. So we're really excited to bring this vision board to life, and hopefully you'll join us on the journey. So we really want to bring that city lifestyle, that luxury lifestyle to Gurnee. We love Gurnee. That's why we continue to invest in it. That's why my mother-in-law and father-in-law started off in Gurnee 45 years ago. We want to give that kind of city feel with the luxury finishes, but for a really affordable rate. We feel that the kids that are graduating college that want to come back home to Gurnee because they love it just as much as we do, and they want to be back near their families, but they want their independence, we want to give them that experience. We feel by combining the residences with a very cool boutique-style hotel is so unique, not only to Gurnee, but to the northern suburbs, and we're excited to be the first and only of its kind. So if you look over at our mood board, we want to mix what's trending right now, but that's going to last a long time. This meeting is very stressful, so we only want to do it once this decade, please. So if you go with us on the journey, so obviously that'll be our check-in desk, and then moving into the rooms. So the hotel rooms will kind of mimic that feel from the residential side, playing with textures and different tones, again, that are on trend, but that will last a lifetime. We want to put in a state-of-the-art exercise facility that we'll get into in a little bit, but it's going to be very unique in a sense where it's going to be in our pool area, which we haven't seen before. If you go down to that lower right, we had the idea to actually do this brand as a freestanding location. We're calling it Maple Restaurant. We feel that there's a need for an on-trend, vibrant breakfast and lunch location that Gurnee really needs as a whole. And while we were going to do it as a new build in Gurnee, we feel that the 10 hotel and residences already has the infrastructure where we can put it right there, right in the lobby. Moving over to the left, you'll see with a little teaser, we want to do a grab-and-go cafe that, again, is right in the lobby, right outside of the check-in desk. It'll have some grab-and-go items, all of the top coffee, espresso, cappuccino items, as well as some sandwiches and some pastries. And then the bottom left, which is our crown jewel. We want to bring the brides back to Gurnee. We're getting pretty sick of hearing that everybody's going to the surrounding towns for their conventions, their weddings, their bridal showers, their baby showers, and everything in between. We have a 600-person banquet facility that we would like to revitalize. It is stunning when you walk into it, but we feel with just a little bit of our touches, we can really revitalize that and go after that market. Thank you.
You can go to the next slide. So from the moment you walk into the hotel, there's going to be a distinct, we have a specialty scent that's going to be curated throughout the hotel, sound, music, lighting inside, vibrant, just clean, ambient atmosphere that we want to create from the moment you walk into the door. I want to start here with the residences, and kind of that's what we're here for, and give you a little detail into the reason why. So currently, the hotel stands at 210 rooms. The average hotel in Gurnee is 210 rooms and is running at a 30% occupancy rate as of the end of 2024. Average hotel in Gurnee outside of Great Wolf, which is really a different animal of itself, being the entertainment aspect of it, has 70 to 80 rooms and run at a 70% occupancy rate. Whereas the apartment aspect, which will give us a base for doing all the other amenities, apartments are running, between 90 to 95% occupancy rate. So with the size of the building, we feel that it's vital to reduce that room rate on the hotel side and fill it with the residence side. So if you could go to the next slide. As Nikki mentioned, we really want to focus towards young adults. We want kids who are coming back from college, and instead of moving into their parents' basement or maybe a apartment that's not centralized in the entertainment district of the downtown of Gurnee, they can have a beautiful, vibrant place with multiple amenities, but still stay inside of the rent basis that you'll see throughout Gurnee. So we're going to start with our studio apartments. They'll range between 1,300 and 1,600, whether they want them furnished or not. We're going to be given the opportunity to have, you can come in with a backpack and have a furnished apartment for you, signed by lease for 1 year today. And then the one-bedroom apartments will range from $1,600 to $1,800 a month. You can go to the next slide. So I want to this is the aesthetic of the one-bedroom apartment. It's approximately 700 square feet. As you can see, this is a 3D visual, and Nikki can walk you through kind of the design features and what we've done. They're all accompanied with a kitchen. There'll be a refrigerator, freezer, stovetop. They'll have a washer sink, and then, what am I going to say?
Microwave.
And a microwave, apologies. So Nikki can walk you through the design there.
So just as I was saying, we want to use some things that are trending, but that will last a long time. It was really important to us to use high-end finishings, which cost us more on the front end, but we know that it is going to last and it's going to have that impact. And the people of Gurnee deserve to live in luxury for an affordable rate. So the quartz countertops and the solid oak finishes on some of the hard cases as Elliot said, that we will give the option to move in fully furnished, and our kitchenettes are going to have everything you need. And with us having the market, while you'll have a small kitchen, you don't really need that much space because you'll be able to shop in a very small little grocery store in our lobby.
So then, this will give you a 2D visual of exactly how the room will lay out. Again, 700 square foot. You walk in right into your kitchen, have a small closet area into your living space, and then have a separate bedroom and your bathroom. If you can go to the next slide. So the studio apartment will have the same design aesthetics as the remainder of the hotel and the residences. There'll be approximately 350 square feet, full kitchen. So you'll have the refrigerator as well, freezer, sink, stovetop, and microwave provided. Again, this attributes to the same design aesthetics as the one bedrooms. We want to have a cohesive look throughout the facility. And this gives you the 2D version of the room so you can see exactly how the layout will be. Go to the next slide. So the amenities are what's really going to separate us from the apartment complexes that are in Gurnee. The amenities and the location. Most everything is on the east side of Gurnee, and this location gives us the opportunity to be right across from Gurnee Mills, 2 minutes away from Great America, really where, young adults want to be be entertained and have restaurants at their fingertips. So the first of the amenities that we're going to be offering is a full-service laundry. So you will be able to, via our Kayet app, you'll literally be able to go on the app, order laundry. One of the maids in the hotel will come pick them up, and within 24 hours, you'll have your laundry cleaned, folded, and returned to you. This will be a very affordable service at $2 per pound. The average individual has about 10 pounds of laundry a week, except for Nikki. She's running about 30 pounds. So this is an amenity we're we think people, young adults, will really take advantage of. They'll also have the ability to use a coin-driven laundry base if they don't want to pay for the service or use the service. There'll be facilities on site so they can do their own laundry. Another amenity that we'll be offering via the restaurants, we'll have 24-hour room service, again, via the Kayet app. So instead of paying 30% more on DoorDash or other delivery sites, you'll be able to click right into our app, order, you can order drinks because we're not leaving the facility, food, and it'll be at your door within, minutes. Got to save a lot of time there. Yeah, absolutely. If you're drinking alcoholic drinks, you must be 21 and over. Another amenity that we're offering, so we have the maid service for the hotel, and we'll also be offering maid service for our residences. So for $100 a month, or a price that hasn't been completely determined yet, you can have your room cleaned via the same app, schedule the service, come up, have your room cleaned, straightened up for you without having to worry about it. Go to the next slide.
I'm in a little technical difficulty here.
I'm glad it's you and not me.
Going to the next slide. Fix it. So this is the next slide. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, while they're doing that, Christian can take the time to kind of describe where 10 came from, what the name signifies.
Thank you.
So as you can see, we brought our heart and soul to this project. We brought our heart and family to this project. And we've also brought our brother back to this project. So we lost a brother in 2003. He was a central part of our family. He was a 5-sport athlete. He was everything my mom and dad did for many years, and then he was gone. So 10 is his number through all of his sporting events, and 10 will be back on this. So not only this project is my family's here, I'm here, our soul is in this project, and we're putting it in the name, and you will believe that the family will be part of this. The cardinal that's up there also reminds us of him, and that's part of our logo. we're going to be all hands on deck. I mean, we're going to have offices in this facility. All of our family members are going to be working in this facility. This facility will be run like a family business, and I think Gurnee will be astounded by the amount of family that will be involved in there. I feel that the residents will become family as well, and I think that they'll know us very well because we're going to be in front of them a lot of times. So our heart and soul will be in this project, so we're excited about that.
All right, so this brings you back one.
Go back.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, okay.
So this brings you into our market. We're going to call it the market. So this will be, again, we're targeting young adults. Everyone will be welcome, but that is our target demographic. So convenience items. So there'll be some produce, milk, eggs if they go down in price. Your pharmacy goods, Tylenol, Advil. We'll have grab-and-go pre-made sandwiches, drinks, and then we're also going to have some of our 10 logoed apparel and some different candies and things of that nature. Nikki's also been working with some local groups to bring in some local vendors. She can talk about that a little bit.
So we are so excited for this opportunity. I can't state that enough. And we figure if we're going to do a retail aspect, we would be honored to have some other local manufacturers, local producers, local moms that have Etsy shops, local dads that have Etsy shops, to be able to give them some space in our retail facility. So we've dedicated an entire portion to be able to use local vendors exclusively, whether it's soaps or leggings or swimwear, jewelry, anything in between. We're excited to entertain all of that. And hopefully they send us the messages that we've been asking, because they're coming through already, and it's amazing to see everybody from Gurnee that really is just supporting each other. And I don't know if you're members of the Gurnee Moms page, but it is such a resource, and so we're excited to work with some fellow Gurnee moms.
So you can go to the next slide. What I want to touch base too, we've worked with, I think, Gurnee Mills is probably the largest business in the area, and they're very excited. I think they gave their recommendations. General Manager Randy has called the village and gave their recommendation. 80% of our workforce actually in Gurnee comes from outside cities. So that's why this is so important. We have a shortage of residential apartments, and that's just another factor as to why we need this project. So this will take you into our lounge. We're playing with names, but we're gearing toward Twyla's lounge, which will be named after my mom. She didn't know that until right now.
Surprise!
So this will be open from 4 o'clock until closing hours. This will offer like tapas-style food, not burgers, wings. We'll have some sushi items, grab drinks, and we'll have live entertainment in this area Thursday through Sunday. So we've already began curating different entertainment acts. We have the Parlor at Primo, which is right down the street. So a lot of those acts will be cross-utilized, used during the week. And again, just another amenity that people can enjoy, not only inside of the hotel and the residences, but we're hoping to give that lobby bar feel where people will come, have a drink by us before they go to their final destinations, wherever that might be. Inside of the lounge will also be 2 state-of-the-art golf simulators, which I'm pretty excited about. So they'll be used by hotel guests, residences, hopefully banquets for rehearsal dinners and whatnot. We're hoping that those will get used quite frequently. You can go to the next slide. So this is, as Nikki touched, our Maple Restaurant and Coffee Bar. So we're in the lobby area, right outside of the restaurant. We're going to do a small boutique coffee shop. So all your grab-and-go items, it'll be a Starbucks Express type feel, but we're going to use a local boutique brand, and that will also service the Maple Restaurant. And I'm going to have Nikki walk you through the restaurant and the exact design and what we look to do there.
And thank you for allowing us to announce the name and surprise my mother-in-law. When we say that our business is family-owned, family-run, she is literally the backbone and the pillar of it, and so we can't get anything past her. So we had to announce it here and shock her, so your reaction was perfect. So hopefully you all join us at Twyla's. So Maple is the restaurant that we've been trying to do in Gurnee for 4 years, and this is the opportunity to do it, like I said. It's really exciting because not only is it going to be very chic and very modern, but it's going to have your traditional breakfast and lunch items as well as some flair. But what will be most unique about it is it's going to be an open-air restaurant, weather pending, of course. So as it sits, it goes Maple, then the terrace, and then our pool area. So our plan is, originally we were going to do huge glass sliders, but we felt it's such a quaint space that we thought some beautiful French doors would be an even nicer touch to further beautify it. So we're going to do 6 sets of French doors to open this up into our terrace, which is right here. So this was our original plan. We didn't have it in the presentation last time. And Ms. Ware, thank you for pointing it out. This will be such a lovely green space where you will be able to either sit out there and read a book. If you're a resident, you can work from there, relax. We will have dining tables there as well, so you can dine at our restaurant. But between the 2 spaces, also if you're there, if you're in town visiting and your kids are in the pool and you want to finish your coffee, or if you're a mom like me, your mimosa, you can watch your kids in the pool and relax here. We're really proud of this. My brother-in-law is an expert. Look at his thumbs. They are bright green. He got that trait. My husband did not, and neither did I. So he's going to be heading up this project with the help of an esteemed landscape team to really make that beautiful space right there in the hub. And a good portion of our rooms look down over it, so it will be a great scenic view for our residents.
Yeah, we're going to, I've been doing yards for a long time, and I enjoy it. If anyone's ever seen my yard, it's amazing, and my mom's as well. And we're going to really beautify that space. It's going to be the green space that you guys had mentioned before. It put a shock in us, and we took advantage of it, and we're going to make that the green space that hotel needs, so, and residents. So it'll be in an amazing space with a lot of colors, seasonal colors, and things for people to enjoy. So we're excited about that. I'm excited about that.
The pool area is something that we really want to show focus to as well. It's an incredible pool area as it sits, but it definitely needs some TLC. So we're going to provide some new design aesthetics to that. We're going to put French doors on the pool area as well. So in the summertime, in the nicer months, you'll be able to open those doors and get some cross breeze and some fresh air into that area. We're going to totally give it more of a nautical theme. We're going to add some cabanas and really just make it softer, warmer, an area that you're going to want to sit and hang out in. It has a gym connected to it currently. It's a small gym. We're going to actually convert that to a yoga and flex studio. And then we're going to add an additional about approximately 1,200 square foot state-of-the-art gym on the east side of the pool. It'll be walled off. You'll be able to see into the pool from the gym. So again, just thinking about, you know, aesthetics, relaxing, being able to enjoy that area that's already there, but we're just going to make it incredibly beautiful. You can go to the next slide. So the banquet hall is something that is incredible as it sits. The problem with it is last year, pre-COVID, it was doing almost $5 million in revenue. Last year, it did approximately $400,000 in revenue. So as Nikki said, we're going to bring brides back to Gurnee. We're going to bring conventions back to Gurnee. That's our forte, that's our heart, that's what we do, and we're really excited about the groups that we're going to be bringing back into that room. Again, we're going to completely add textures and designs and features that'll make it more warm and more inviting. We have some agreements already in place for the banquet hall that Nikki's going to touch on.
So we've been working with the Wedding Expo, the Gem and Jewelry Show, the Southern Wine and Spirits. They do bourbon tastings, wine tastings, contacts that we already have within the 5 restaurants that we have. As well as the U.S. Foods Flavor Show. So pulling it's going to sound like I'm knocking Schaumburg, but all of those things are hosted at the Schaumburg Convention Center right now, and we feel that they should be back up in Gurnee. So we have some verbal commitments from all of them. Obviously, we don't own the building yet, so we can't sign anything officially until we do. So that is pending, obviously, your approval. And we've been working with the Naval Stations Great Lakes. Michelle Smith was supposed to be here tonight, but we have a really great relationship with her now on being one of their preferred hotels and doing a lot of cross promotions for the Navy families. So we can send you all of that once we have it in writing as well.
You can go to the next slide. So I'm going to let Christian talk. As we've discussed, parking was an issue that we wanted to show some focus to, and Christian can walk you through what we've done to solve that issue.
Yeah, so I have a member of Chicago Valet here. I'd like to call him up and let him introduce himself. He studied the property. He's been doing this for quite a long time. He's in the car business. He works for Ziegler as well, so he's familiar with a lot of cars and parking lots. So I'd like him to introduce himself.
Hi, everybody. Excuse me, Jonathan Moskowitz, owner of Chicago Valet.
So we studied the property, and we have come up with a solution with using the lane that's already there, one lane as valet, the other lane as a drive-through, and he'll be able to accommodate with a full-time valet staff. We're going to have valet there full-time every day. Residents can use it as well as the people that are coming to visit the hotel or the convention center. We have an agreement with Rohrman to use approximately 50 to 75 spaces in their lot. You should have that letter from them. Obviously, we don't own it, so we don't have a contract yet, but it's in place to be done. And we feel very confident that the space that we have will accommodate all the needs of the property. So if you have any questions for him, please let us know.
In addition, we've also put some backup into the Rohrman lot that we have available. Leases are in place. We're just waiting. Once we close on the property, they'll be signed. We also have Gurnee Mills, who has a lease prepared, and I think you guys have been provided with that. So they've offered up to 200 valet spots. All the spots are shown on the diagrams on the right. So you see the Rohrman lot on your left, they're highlighted in red. And then the Gurnee Mills lot is below. That'll change all the time. They mark the specific lot here, but when we tell them we have an event coming, they'll tell us where we're going to be based on their events that they have. So that'll change randomly. And then we also have all of our paperwork and application prepared for the ComEd lot. Again, as soon as we're closed on the property, that will be submitted and will be, that's about a 3 to 4 month process. Did you have any, we'll finish and then we can go to questions.
Sure.
So if you can go to the next slide. So this gives an outdoor rendering, and I think anyone can tell, just paint and a modern look is going to create such a different dimension to look at off of Grand Avenue. We think it's beautiful, and I don't know if you folks are familiar with the project that we have going on in Antioch, but it's on the corner of 45 and State Line. It was an old barn, almost looked like a haunted barn, as I said last time, and we've really done the same thing we're going to do here. We took what was once a scary site and turned it into a beautiful mirage. When you drive past it, it's truly incredible. So that's the presentation and where we're. Yeah, security is going to be, as far as ambiance, cleanliness, a new modern vibe, and everything that we're going to be doing as far as amenities for the project. Security has been at the top of our list. We've hired the services of McCarthy & Burns, which is one of the top security agencies in the country. We'll have 24-hour AI-driven surveillance, and they've prepared an entire overlook and have viewed the property, and we're going to be taking all their suggestions moving forward. And I just want to introduce McCarthy & Burns. They're going to say a few words. We have Bobby Burns here with us and my father-in-law, Tony Scarpelli.
And I can testify as an expert witness to the amount of laundry she goes through.
What's happening here?
My wife also.
Thank you, and it's nice to see everybody again, and thank you for having us back. Again, we've made several trips to the current location now, so we're very familiar with it. We have some suggestions in place. We're going to take a look. We're going to help them prepare brand-new policies and procedures for all their employees, security regulations. We'll work alongside the Gurnee Police Department, the chief, and their administration. We'll help them come up with some solid emergency plans. And plans are only as good as the employee training. So we at McCarthy Burns do a lot of workplace violence training. We do, we come in and we teach the employees at least once a year. We're going to help them come up with a nice, solid training program. We're going to help them set up a staffing security structure, and as they get bigger in events, that'll be appropriate, that they'll have people that they would need based on the occupancy. You did touch on the technology. We utilize technology now. There's a lot of innovation that's going to help monitor the property, including the parking lot, and within like license plate readers and technologies that could help law enforcement after the fact and that are proactive. And of course, we are building a long-term relationship, and we're going to be available as their consultants and as needed security or whatever is necessary. And of course, sticking with the family theme, Tony and I was a 30-year law enforcement and worked with Tony, who has well over 30 years. He was the chief of Skokie. I was the deputy chief in a south suburb. We worked closely together. We formed McCarthy Burns with Gary McCarthy, the former superintendent of Chicago Police. He was a deputy commissioner for the New York Police Department. And now we have this consulting business, and since then, Tony is our vice president. So we obviously have to do a really good job and take care of them. So.
Thank you, Tony. Thank you. To further that, security and comfort is going to be one of our main objectives here. We want everyone to be very secure in there. We're actually, going overboard to make sure that happens. And it's basically technology and management that's going to provide that to us. I wanted to also remind everyone, currently this hotel is in very poor occupancy, and the banquets are way down. What we're doing is going to create a lot of revenue for the city of Gurnee. And I want you to keep that in mind, that this is going to benefit Gurnee in tax revenues and schools and everything else. I can't project what the revenues will be, but the food service alone, I think, will be over $5 million. And that's probably a light projection. And then the hotel tax and all the other revenues that are involved inside are going to all be streaming to Gurnee. So just wanted to point that out. Thank you.
One last thing that we didn't touch upon, we are out there actively looking for high-level quality people that are going to run and operate this. It's not going to be, we're going to hire people that are hotel managers with a lot of experience. We're going to hire a banquet manager, and we're going to oversee all their operations. So this will be headed by state-of-the-art people. We've contacted some people that have worked as at the Trump Hotel in Chicago. Another gentleman that worked at Ritz-Carlton. So there's some people out there that we're going to bring to this town that have never been to this town, but are going to love to be in 10 residents and hotels. So just as a peace of mind for you guys to go along with the security and the way that we operate. So.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
Okay, thank you. I'll start. Thank you for a really great presentation. It's really impressive, in terms of what you're trying to accomplish there. And I'm going to focus on the things that we have to act on. And first, I'll comment about the conversion to apartments. I think it's sorely needed in Gurnee for us to have some more apartments at the price points that you're envisioning. I'm impressed by the amenities that you're going to have on site to support it, so it's just not like an island of apartments with nothing really to service it. It's really great.
Thank you.
The key concern going in is the impact that the whole operation will have on parking availability. And I guess my question is for staff. The 450 additional spaces that'll be valet-oriented, does staff concur that that's going to do the trick?
Based upon code, the off-site parking demand, I think, is 137 spots.
Okay.
So that's going to be one of the conditions that they have, is they have arrangements at the time of the occupancy of the residential properties, that they have secured off-site leases and valet services to facilitate those potential 130 some odd parking spots off-site.
Okay. So,
Between the combination of the ones that they are discussing, it's more than adequate.
okay, thank you. Dave?
I want to echo some of the things, of course, Mr. Sula said. It was a very professional presentation, and this is a unique piece of property on a very important corner, very important portion of our village, right? And, we've seen other instances where we've had other significant piece of property fall into disrepair and not get the required attention. And, this piece of property can go a lot of different directions here, right? So if you're not here tonight making this investment and putting this effort in, who knows where this ends up. And so I'm certainly in favor of, what I've seen and the direction you're trying to go, and I applaud all the things that Mr. Sula said as well.
Thank you.
I'm looking for maybe just a little bit of clarification. I wasn't able to be here for the first presentation, but I want to ask about the age restriction or the age component of this. So it's be set for 21 and over. Is that the restriction on the person who signs the lease only, or does that mean any resident at all, no residents, period, under the age of 21?
So it'll be 21 and over focused. Illinois doesn't allow us, per their fair housing, to only have 21 and over, but that will be our target demographic and our target market. Will also be as an additional tool to kind of go that way. There will be one person, a limitation of one person in the studio apartments and 2 people in the 1-bedroom apartments.
Right, because I envision all sorts of scenarios. In my work every day, I think of what am I missing? What's the unknown, right? So I see, let's say a single mom with a 7-year-old who really needs a place to stay. You got a 1-bedroom, and it's maybe not, an ideal scenario, but we wouldn't be turning away people under a scenario like that.
No.
As long as you have the leaseholder being 21 and over, we're good.
Correct.
Excellent, okay. My parking questions were resolved tonight, the ones that I brought in.
Okay.
And again, I appreciate the vision. It requires a little bit of outside-the-box thinking here, right?
Yeah.
I mean, this is, or coloring outside of the lines and all that sort of stuff, right? So again, thank you for the effort so far.
Thank you.
Edwin?
Beautiful presentation. You guys did a great job answering all our questions, and I appreciate it very much.
Thank you.
And I like the investment into our community. The only issue that I had brought up in the previous meeting was the parking, and I think that's been addressed, but do you have any actual written commitments from Rorman or the Gurnee Mills that you will have spaces available?
Yeah, so we've provided leases, written commitments. They just won't fully execute them until we take ownership of the property. But the village has the leases as part of the PUD package.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Todd?
Again, it sounds like a broken record, but a great presentation, a much-needed boost to the community, and again, I think last time my concerns was parking, and you've addressed those, and thank you.
Thank you.
Liliana?
I have a couple questions and some comments. So one person per studio, max two per apartment, right?
Correct.
People are 21, they have friends. If they want to have a party, my question is about management more than anything. So they come to the pool, they bring their 12 friends. How are you going to manage that?
Through our staff, through our security staff, and through, other staff members on the property. It won't be allowed.
Okay, so you're allowing guests to,
Oh, yeah, I think people have to have guests.
But a limited amount.
Yeah, there won't be guests staying in the room, but can they have guests at the property and at the restaurants? Yes.
okay.
Sure, we'll have to have advance notice that they're going to have an event.
Yeah, they would have to have an advance notice, and there'll be noise restrictions that at certain hours that you will not be, so say at 10 PM during the week and maybe 11 PM on the weekends. Just like if you were at any other hotel, there's quiet hours, and we'll have quiet hours in the residence as well. And we'll do our best to fulfill those demands, and obviously you always are going to get thrown a rock, and you got to grind it up and get rid of it. So that's what will have to happen.
And it is part of our security protocol, and we will have lifeguards on staff for the pool specifically. That part of their role will be to make sure that we're operating, within our capacity and B, as safe as possible.
So talking about security as well, so the hotel guests will not have the ability to go to the resident part, but the residents have open access to the hotel part. Okay.
Yes,
Correct.
so
There'll be
able to take
security.
full advantage of all of it.
Okay. And my question is security for the hotel guests as well, right?
Yeah, it'll be key carded access. The residents will have access to the entire facility. The hotel guests will only have access to the hotel side and the restaurants.
And our elevators, they'll have to have a room key. So you're saying for your hotel guests?
Right.
They would have to have a room key to get up to their floor.
Okay.
So that's how residents wouldn't be able to get into the hotel area. They'd be able to use all the common areas of the hotel, but not the room portions
Rooms
of it.
floors
That's
where
correct.
All rooms
Yes.
are good, good. So just the comments. Today's presentation and last time's presentation, very good. And thank you very much for addressing any questions and concerns we had before, especially the parking. That's great. As reasonable as they are, there are a number of exceptions in your requests, so just pointing that out. And if all goes well, I'm really excited to see the opportunities with your innovative project to bring to our village. So thank you very much for that. Make us proud.
Thank you. We will.
We will not let you down.
Okay, Dane?
Thank you, Chair. Mr. Christensen, I know you just took your seat, but my question was actually for you. And I just wanted some clarification on the sign. You mentioned, I guess I was looking for the dimensions. So the sign height that is currently there, the monument sign that's currently on the property is the exception, right? So you're not looking to take that sign down and then have an exception. It's just we need to have the exception noted because as is, right? When it was put up, it was an exception and you want it.
Yeah, it was not an exception when it was put up.
Right. But now putting in, it's going to be in the current ordinance, right? So it is the same height, same dimensions, and you're going to use the same sign base?
Well, I'm not sure of the actual material in that, but it'll
Yeah.
use the same sign base.
Okay,
So,
all right.
Dane,
Thank you.
Dane, I think the issue is because a permit's going to be required to do the modifications, the permitting process would require a review
Reverting
of
to the
height to
standard.
ordinance. And because of that, the exception would then have to be modified, enacted.
Okay. No, thank you.
Rather than running them through a minor exception process later on,
Yeah.
we're going to pull it all into the plan unit development agreement.
Right, but dimensionally, it's basically what it is right now.
Yes.
Okay.
Except they're asking to convert part of it to an electronic sign.
Right, and the electronic sign portion of that will be, as it is indicated here, will be consistent with the balance of what we have in the village right now. You're not looking to exceed that.
Correct.
Okay. That was really all I had. We've talked about the parking to pieces, so I'll leave that alone. And it's indicated in your plans that you'll have the executed leases and the like for that, and the valet parking will be addressed in order to complement and supplement that. So I think that's all I have, Chair. Thank you.
Okay. Ronita?
I don't really have a question. I just want to say thank you. Congratulations. Great presentation. I think it made a big difference with that outdoor space that you're proposing. It's going to be a great selling feature. And also the electronic gate access for the restaurants and the parking area. That's wonderful. So thank you for hearing us and responding.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Okay. At this time, I'll open the floor to the public. Does anyone from the public care to ask a question, make a comment? If not, I'm going to close the floor to the public. Any other questions or discussion?
Yeah, just for purposes of deliberation, you have the standards for a plan unit development, and actually, Mr. Christensen presented testimony regarding those conditions. They're listed in the application as well as our ordinance, and as Mr. Christensen pointed out, because this is not requiring any new construction, those conditions, for instance, will it be injurious to the use and enjoyment of our property, since they're not, you obviously you have to make a decision when you make the motion, but there's been testimony that is accomplished, as well as the other factors that are listed there in terms of adequacy of drainage and utilities. Obviously, those are servicing the site already. In terms of, and there's been already discussion about the parking, and then another one is the effect of this with the surrounding property. And again, because it is being used consistently with what it is, I believe the board has received testimony on that point.
Any other comments or questions? Okay, I think the first thing we need to do is have a motion to make a recommendation on the rezoning on that parcel that was annexed in. Go ahead, Dane.
Sure. Motion to forward a favorable recommendation on the petition of Kite Enterprises for a zoning map amendment to rezone approximately 0.09 acres located at 6161 Grand Avenue from R1, single-family residence district, to C2 PUD, community commercial district, as a planned unit development in the village of Gurnee.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
I heard Todd first. Okay. Any questions on the motion? Roll call, please.
Path,
Aye.
Jordan Tough. Aye. Ware,
Aye.
Martin,
Aye.
Campbell,
Aye.
Morgan,
Yes.
and Sula.
Aye, motion carries. Next, we need a motion regarding the special use permit for a preliminary PUD plan.
Motion to forward a favorable recommendation on the petition of Kite Enterprises for a special use permit for a preliminary planned unit development PUD plan application with certain departures from the village's zoning ordinance to redevelop 80 residential units and renovate hotel rooms and restaurant on property located at 6161 Grand Avenue, consistent with the applicant's testimony and subject to the following additional conditions: for parking, written and signed parking agreements indicating a continuous term and number of location of parking spaces be submitted to the Village Community Development Department prior to any occupancy permit being granted. The petitioner is responsible to provide alternative parking solutions to meet the minimum parking requirements should either of parking agreements or valet service contract changes or terminates. For the electronic message center, no portion of the image may flash, scroll, twirl, change color, or in any manner imitate movement. The electronic message board sign must have an automatic dimmer and photocell which shall constantly monitor ambient light conditions and adjust sign brightness accordingly. The use of bright white backgrounds for electronic message displays is prohibited. The use of an amber color for the electronic message text on a dark background is encouraged. All portions of the electronic image message must have a minimum duration of 30 seconds. The electronic message board must be turned off between midnight and 6 a.m. The message duration in condition number 4 above will be reviewed by the village board in 6 months from the date of approval of the special use permit to determine whether it should be adjusted. The minimum height of electronic letters numbers must be no less than 6 inches as to make the sign easier to read. The transition time between messages must be instantaneous. The entire message must be contained on one screen. There will not be any two-party messages or contiguous, and the electronic sign will have a resolution of 8 millimeters.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Liliana. I just have one question. Do we need to specifically call out the height of the sign exception?
It's consistent with the application, so it's kind of
So it's okay?
part of the motion, the original motion.
Okay, I
yes.
just wanted to make sure we were covered. Any discussion?
Well, I have one.
Yeah, sure.
thing to point out. Isn't that supposed to be two-part messages and not two-party messages?
Yes.
Oh, good catch. Okay. So, Dane, are you okay with changing it to two-party?
Yes.
Okay.
Number 9, the entire message must be contained on one screen. There will not be any two-part messages or continuations.
Okay. Liliana, you okay with the amendment? Okay. Yes, sir.
Quick question. I think the motion that was brought up was for the preliminary plan only.
We have a second motion pending.
For the final plan?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Half,
Aye.
Nordentoff.
Aye.
Ware,
Aye.
Martin,
Aye.
Campbell,
Aye.
Morgan,
Yes.
and Sula.
Aye, motion carries. Now we need a motion in the form of a recommendation on the final PUD plan.
Motion to forward a favorable recommendation on the petition of Kite Enterprises for a final planned unit development, PUD, plan application on property located at 6161 Grand Avenue, consistent with the preliminary planned unit development plan.
We have a motion, we have a second.
Second?
Second by Mr. Paff. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Half,
Aye.
Nordentoff.
Aye.
Ware,
Aye.
Martin,
Aye.
Campbell,
Aye.
Morgan,
Yes.
and Sula.
Aye, motion carries. As you know, we are a recommending body to the village board. I think you heard and saw a lot of enthusiasm here. Good luck with your project. I think it's the biggest investment in, 5 years maybe?
For an existing, definitely for an existing
so
structure, yes.
It's all very exciting, so good luck.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you guys very much. We are so excited for this project.
We are too. Thank
It's
you.
going to be a shining star in Gurnee.
Thank you. Next item on the calendar, we have a meeting potential for March 19th. Is there anything on the calendar?
There is a public hearing at this point, to rezone the other half of the annexation that we did Monday night. That's on the Restaurant Depot side of the property line.
Okay. All right, so,
Annex that?
We annexed it, so now we have to rezone it as well.
Who owns that property?
It's restaurant.
okay. So we will have a meeting on the 19th? So, and that's a public hearing, you said?
There was a public hearing, yes.
Okay. Motion, I'll open the floor to the public for any comment. Close the floor to the public. Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Second by Mr. Nordentoff. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Thank you, everyone.